Greetings and peace. I would like to start this with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace be with you and yours. And I will also like to introduce the Nur Fatimiyya Sufi greeting, Nur alaikum, upon you be light. Today is a book review and an analysis of Shaykh Wahid Azal's translation of the work of Suhrawardi, especially the spiritual influxes and sanctifications, which is a great service done for humanity and for those on the spiritual and Sufi path alike. And I hope you enjoy this presentation. And again, this is dedicated to Shaykh Wahid and the Nur FSO, and I represent myself only. For those of you that don't know, Shaykh Wahid Azal is the Grand Shaykh of the Nur Fatimiyya Sufi order, and especially reviving the divine feminine tradition and also the aspect of the Azali Babi traditions. He's a contemporary scholar, translator, and philosopher devoted to reviving the illuminating traditions of Islamic and Persian wisdom. His work defends the integrity of non-Western spiritual sciences, restoring their esoteric depth and the unity between knowledge, devotion, and illumination. Now, this presentation explores his translation and commentary on Shihabuddin Yahya Suhrawardi's The Spiritual Influxes and Sanctifications, which is a beautiful and sacred text uniting philosophy, mysticism, and prayer into one radiant vision of divine light, as the book is titled Prayers to the Orient of Light, which I will put the link in the description below where you can access this. Shaykh Wahid Azal's mission reclaims Suhrawardi's legacy from reductionist academic frameworks that treat spiritual philosophy as mere history. He emphasizes theurgy, the act of invoking divine presence through sacred words, as central to this illuminating practice. His approach integrates Babi and Azali mysticism as the living mirror of the Bayan, continuing the prophetic lineage of light in a modern context where revelation, metaphysics, and moral transformation remain inseparable. And I recommend everyone go to Shaykh Wahid's YouTube channel, which will also be included in the description below, and check out all of the recent lectures on the study of Suhrawardi's works. Suhrawardi, called the master of illumination, envisioned a cosmos where light is both being and consciousness. His philosophy, the Hikmat al-Ishraq, harmonizes Greek rationalism, Persian angelology, and Quranic revelation into one luminous worldview. Illumination is not metaphorical for Suhrawardi, it is the substance for existence. Every act of knowing is an encounter with light, and every seeker's path is an ascent from shadow into divine radiance. Like the Quranic verse, Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. Henry Corbin reintroduced Suhrawardi to the modern world, framing him as a prophet philosopher who united intellect and revelation. Corbin's notion of the imaginal realm described a world of archetypal realities accessed through vision and devotion. Yet later scholarship often diluted Suhrawardi's spiritual power by reducing him to a symbolic thinker. Wahid Azal restores his voice as a living mystic whose texts are liturgies of illumination and not mere allegories or to be reduced as such. The Hagia Sophia 2144 manuscript, copied in 1228 Common Era, serves as the foundation for this translation. It preserves Suhrawardi's invocations in structured liturgical form, each prayer corresponding to celestial hierarchies and divine intelligences. Limited manuscript access forced the editors to reconstruct portions analytically. Now, despite these challenges, the spirit of Suhrawardi's luminous devotion remains intact, testifying to a continuous chain of sacred transmission. Warid refers to the descent of divine inspiration upon the purified heart, a direct influx of light into the soul. It is not symbolic but ontological, transforming the human being into a reflection of celestial illumination. This divine influx aligns the seeker's will with cosmic intelligence, prayer becomes participation in divine being itself, where the human voice echoes the eternal word through luminous remembrance. Shaykh Wahid Azal treats Suhrawardi's prayers as an Ishraqi scripture, a living revelation of divine light. These texts are performative, not descriptive. They enact illumination rather than merely describing it. Each supplication becomes a bridge between intellect and devotion, transforming philosophy into ritual and awakening the luminous reality within the worshipper. In the illuminationist view, prayer is a theurgic act that invokes angelic powers and reorders the self towards divine light. The soul, purified through devotion, becomes a conduit for celestial energies. Suhrawardi teaches that worship and knowledge converge in prayer. True philosophy is sanctified speech, a remembrance that awakens the divine pattern inscribed within all beings. The cosmos of Suhrawardi is structured as a hierarchy of lights, from the light of lights down to the material world. Every being radiates a measure of divine illumination, ordered in degrees of luminosity. Each of the 28 prayers corresponds to the 28 Arabic letters, forming a sacred alphabet of light. Through recitation, the devotee participates in creation's ongoing revelation of divine language. Suhrawardi's planetary prayers draw upon ancient Zoroastrian and Hermetic correspondences. Each planet embodies an angelic intelligence, governing moral and metaphysical attributes. The rites, performed with purity and intention, align the soul with cosmic rhythms. Thus, devotion becomes a form of celestial harmony, restoring order and balance within the universe and the self. Suhrawardi revives the ancient doctrine of the perfect nature, the divine counterpart of the human soul. Through purification and remembrance, one unites with this angelic double, achieving illumination. Shaykh Wahid Azal's commentary interprets this as an esoteric journey toward the higher self, symbolizing the integration of intellect, soul, and spirit into the unity of divine awareness. Shaykh Wahid Azal's work challenges the structures that restrict non-Western scholars from interpreting their own traditions, especially the Western ivory towers and the white gatekeepers and scholars. He critiques the colonial framework that objectifies sacred knowledge as data rather than lived revelation. His scholarship asserts intellectual sovereignty for Islamic and Persian mysticism, calling for freedom to express metaphysical truth in its native spiritual language. The marginalization of illuminationist philosophy mirrors a broader exile of the spirit under colonial modernity. Suhrawardi's execution and suppression symbolize this loss of divine light in the world. By reviving Suhrawardi's prayers, Wahid Azal reclaims spiritual independence, restoring the voice of the Orient as a bearer of wisdom, not an object of study. Suhrawardi's synthesis of reason and revelation led to his persecution and death in Aleppo, Syria. His martyrdom represents the eternal struggle between illumination and tyranny, wisdom and power. His teachings endure as a call to inner sovereignty, to stand in the light of divine truth, even in the face of worldly oppression. Suhrawardi dissolves the boundaries between philosophy, mysticism, and prophecy. Knowledge, when purified, becomes revelation. Revelation, when understood, becomes wisdom. Shaykh Wahid Azal's translation captures this unity, revealing how illuminationist theurgy embodies divine communication through light, intellect, and love. Suhrawardi's teachings resonate with Platonic, Hermetic, and Sufi metaphysics. Like Proclus and Ibn Arabi, he perceives the cosmos as a mirror of divine self-disclosure. Illuminationist wisdom transcends religious boundaries, presenting light as the universal essence through which all traditions reflect the same divine source. The Quran describes God as the light of the heavens and the earth. Suhrawardi interprets this not allegorically but ontologically. Light is the very being of God manifest in creation. Darkness, by contrast, is the absence of light, symbolizing ignorance and separation. The spiritual journey thus becomes the transformation of shadow into luminous understanding. Suhrawardi's cosmology integrates ancient Iranian angelology with Hermetic cosmography. The celestial hierarchy of lights echoes the Amishaspentas and the Zoroastrian cosmic order. This synthesis affirms the continuity of Iranian wisdom from Zarathustra through the Greeks to Islamic esotericism, an unbroken chain of illumination. And another great book that I recommend is Henry Corbin's The Man of Light in Iranian Sufism, which I have covered on this channel. Ethics in the illuminationist system is not imposed but radiates naturally from inner light. Virtue arises when the soul aligns with its luminous origin, while vice manifests as estrangement from it. The illuminated soul acts spontaneously in harmony with divine order, embodying justice, compassion, and wisdom as expressions of cosmic balance. Through invocation of planetary intelligences, the devotee participates in divine creativity. Each angelic sphere reflects a mode of divine activity that renews existence perpetually. In performing these rites, one does not worship the planets but honors the divine light manifest within them, participating in the universal praise of the Creator. Reunion with the perfect nature symbolizes the realization of one's eternal identity in divine light. The seeker recognizes that illumination is not attained but remembered. It is one's original being. This recognition dissolves duality between self and cosmos, revealing that the light within and the light beyond are one and the same. Modern Ishraqi thinkers, including Shaykh Wahid Azal, preserve Suhrawardi's legacy as a living philosophy of light. It continues to inspire spiritual renewal across Persian, Arabic, and Western traditions. The revival of these teachings marks a return to sacred wisdom as an active, transformative force in human consciousness and culture. Wahid Azal's translation restores Suhrawardi's work to its full spiritual context, bridging academic scholarship and living mysticism. His method respects the text's liturgical and theurgic structure. Through decades of study, he has illuminated the continuing relevance of Ishraqi thought for modern seekers, scholars, and philosophers alike. Now, both Suhrawardi and Shaykh Wahid Azal remind us that divine light is both the source and destiny of all existence. To know light is to know oneself, and to act in light is to fulfill one's divine purpose. The path of illumination is eternal, a journey from multiplicity to unity, from shadow to radiance, where philosophy and devotion merge in the remembrance of the One. Thank you all for exploring the path of light and illumination, and I'll put the link in the description below where you can access this great work by yourself at your own leisure and convenience. Thank you for watching. If any questions or comments, please email me at salmanshaykh911@gmail.com. And of course, all my work is for the purpose of fair use, education purposes, nonprofit, awareness, education, free speech, and that is the purpose of all of this work. Thank you. All rights reserved.